Welcome to Cyber Safety 101, Password Management. The first part of managing your password is creating a safe password. Did you know more than 80% of security breaches were due to stolen, weak, or reused passwords? Weak and insecure passwords are a security concern, and it can have catastrophic consequences for an individual or organization. So here's what you need to remember about creating a safe password. Number one, complexity. When it comes to password security, complexity is key. Your password should be robust and resistant to brute force attacks. Here's how you can make that happen. A strong password contains a diverse set of characters including uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and special characters. Try to create passwords that are a blend of these elements to enhance the complexity and deflect hacking attempts. Remember, steer clear of using easily guessable patterns such as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or just password. Hackers often employ automated tools to crack passwords, and common patterns make their job much easier. Be creative and unpredictable in your password choices. The second thing you need to remember about creating a safe password is password length. In addition to complexity, the length of your password plays a crucial role in determining strength. Longer passwords are inherently more secure because they offer a larger pool of possible combinations. Try to aim for a minimum password length of 12 characters. Also, consider using passphrases instead of single-word passwords. Passphrases are strings of words or sentences that are easy to remember, yet incredibly difficult for hackers to crack. Number 3. Try to create unique passwords for each account. Using the same password across multiple accounts is a recipe for disaster. If one account gets compromised, all your other accounts become vulnerable. Remember, use unique passwords for each account. And also regularly update your passwords and avoid reusing old ones. You can do this by setting a schedule to change your passwords periodically to mitigate the risk of long-term exposure to potential threats. Number 4. Protect your privacy. Your passwords should be an impenetrable fortress guarding your digital assets. Avoid using personal information that can be easily guessed or discovered. When setting up security questions for your password recovery, choose answers that are not readily available on your social media profiles or public records. Try to find answers that only you would know.
Password storage. Password managers. When it comes to storing your passwords, the last thing you want is for all your passwords to be stored together, unprotected, and unguarded. Whether it's a phone's notes app or a simple journal, many people store their passwords in ways that are vulnerable to being stolen or exposed. To prevent this, here's what you should do. Store your passwords in an online password manager. Reputable password managers securely store your passwords in a protected database, allowing you to feel safe knowing your passwords won't be compromised. Generate passwords using your password manager. Password managers can generate secure, complex passwords for you that will be less susceptible to being brute forced. Encryption. Oftentimes, we leave our passwords stored in a way where bad actors can directly read our passwords from the database. To prevent this, we can use encryption to obfuscate our passwords from unauthorized access. When we encrypt our passwords, we use a unique algorithm or code to scramble our passwords before storing them. Later on, when we need to use our passwords, we can use that same exact unique algorithm to decrypt or descramble our passwords. Most credible password managers already encrypt your passwords for you, so just make sure your passwords are being encrypted by your password manager of choice. Multi-factor authentication, also known as MFA. On top of your existing passwords, you can add even more security through the use of multi-factor authentication, or MFA. MFA comes in many different forms, such as SMS, authentication apps, email codes, and more. It is highly recommended to enable these extra authentication steps, especially if the website or app you are using allows for it. You can also enable MFA for your password manager application, which would add another layer of security for your entire password storage system as a whole. Password backup. It is critical for you to back up your passwords in password vaults or offline encryption databases, especially in the case of you losing access to your data and passwords. Whether your computer breaks or you are a victim of ransomware, it is very important for you to back up your passwords and data in order for you to be able to recover your account securely. Here are some tips on backing up your passwords. Back up your passwords on the cloud. When you back up your data and your passwords on the cloud, your passwords will be stored in an encrypted remote database that you can access from any of your devices. This will ensure that you can recover important data if you lose access to your original device. Use the 3-2-1 rule. To make sure that your passwords are properly backed up, you should keep at least 3 copies of your password, store 2 copies using different storage methods, and have 1 copy on a very secure off-site storage database.
Next, I'll talk about how to use your passwords safely. First, you have to be updating your passwords regularly. According to Thytoctic, 80% of all cybersecurity attacks involve a weak or stolen password, usually from security breaches or password leaks. This is why you need to be updating your passwords periodically, about every 90 days, and immediately after you get a notification that your password is breached. Next, avoid reusing passwords. One password that's breached can compromise multiple accounts if you're using the same password for all those accounts. Make sure you're generating unique passwords for each account, and make sure that you're using different passwords for professional and personal accounts. Next, beware of phishing emails. Signs of phishing emails include suspicious links, suspicious sender emails, and requests for sensitive information. Organizations should implement email filtering and employee training programs that help detect different forms of cybersecurity attacks. Next, avoid sharing your passwords with other people. Passwords should never be shared with others unless absolutely necessary. You're compromising that account every time you share your password information. While they might be a friend or coworker, it's another access point and potential attack for a hacker. So next time you share your Netflix account details, think again. In an organization, you want to limit the access to passwords based on the specific role and responsibilities of an employee. For example, everyone on the management team may have access to a password and account specifically for the management team, no one else. And finally, the best place you should use your password is when you're sure you have a secure access point. Enter passwords when you're in a secure environment to prevent unauthorized interception. Enter it on a trusted device and where there's secure network connection, so no public Wi-Fi's. Next, Mary Rose will talk about password reset mechanisms.
Password reset mechanisms is about the variety of different ways a password can be resetted and how they can be resetted. Firstly, security questions. It is important to have strong security questions because they act as an additional layer of protection for users' accounts by verifying the identity of the users during password recovery. Choosing questions that have answers unique to the user is crucial. Characteristics of effective security questions. The questions should be simple for the user to recall but challenging for others to guess or find out. They should be stable and not change over time. Good examples include the name of your first pet, the make and model of your first car, or the street you grew up on. Risks of poor security questions. If the questions are too simple or the answers are easily discovered through social media or other public accounts, the security of the account is compromised. Avoid questions like, "What is your favorite color?" which may have common answers or be easily guessable. Strategies for creating strong answers. If the questions are somewhat common, creating unique and complex answers can enhance security. For example, rather than just the name of your first pet, you could use a combination of the pet's name, breed, and a special characteristic. Next is temporary passwords. Functions of temporary passwords. Temporary passwords serve as a short term solution for users to regain access to their accounts. After identity confirmation, these passwords provide immediate but limited time access to the user's account to establish a new permanent password. Security measures for temporary passwords. These passwords should be generated with a high degree of complexity, including a mix of letters, numbers, and special characters to resist unauthorized use. They are typically valid for a single use or a very short period. Urgency in updating temporary passwords. It is important to change the temporary password promptly after the first login. Delaying this action can leave the account vulnerable as temporary passwords may be more susceptible to interception or guessing. Self service reset tools. Advantages of self service reset tools include enhancing user autonomy, reducing downtime waiting for IT assistance, and significantly lowering the volume of help desk calls, allowing IT professionals to focus on more complex tasks. Security protocols for self service tools. Multi factor authentication should be incorporated, requiring users to confirm their identity with at least two forms of evidence, something they know, have, or are, before resetting their password. And lastly, multi factor authentication. Principle of multi factor authentication is a security system that requires more than one method of authentication from independent categories of credentials to verify the user's identity for a login or other transaction. Types of authentication factors include something you know, like a password or PIN, something you have, such as a mobile device or security token, and something you are, biometric verification like fingerprints or facial recognition.
Thank you so much for listening to Cyber Safety 101 Password Management. We hope you learned more about the importance of password safety.